Welcome to Investing for the Savvy Businesswoman. My name is Gina Baker-Chambers. I am president of MCB Real Estate. We're an owner-operator developer based in the Mid-Atlantic. Prior to my current role, however, I spent 14 years at Argus Real Estate Partners, which is a real estate investment management firm that was co-founded by Penny Christie and Debbie Harmon. So we were a woman-owned and led investment manager, which is very rare in this industry, as you all are aware. And I have two esteemed panelists today that I'm going to help moderate a conversation. They're old pros, so they really don't need me up here, but I'm going to help facilitate the conversation and get your questions from the audience as well. Beth, if you introduce yourself.
My name is Beth Azor. I live in South Florida. I own a shopping center portfolio worth about $70 million. Sold 3 shopping centers last year, 2 for a 1031 exchange because they were crazy and overpaid. Otherwise, I wouldn't have sold them. And I'm on a mission to get women to invest personally. So if you have not heard my spiel, you will hear it all day long. I asked the last panel, I'm on a mission, and we'll get to that.
My name is DeLea Becker. I reside in Austin, Texas, and I serve several roles in real estate, commercial real estate development, construction, and brokerage. But my primary goal, I'm a very selfish, self-centered oriented person.
She is not.
I want to buy buildings. I love to buy commercial buildings. I'll even buy land. And the big thing that I want to get across is you don't have to start big and sexy. If you don't own any commercial real estate, today's a good day. I started small, I moved up a little bit, then I buy small. I have no certain thing. I just buy good deals. And a good deal could actually be that it's a great deal in 20 years, but it's all right today. And that's what I've done over and over for the past 17 years, and I'm doing all right. So.
Can I ask a question?
Of course.
How many people in the room own commercial real estate, so 2 units or more, not part of their company? So can you all stand up, those of you that just raised your hand? Everyone else, so congratulations to all of you. But next year, we all need to be standing. Do we agree we all need to be standing next year?
We want this to be highly interactive, so we're not waiting till the last 10 minutes to have questions from the audience. So as you think of them, please raise your hand because we really want this to be an interactive discussion. There we go.
So you said you can start small. How small is small?
The very first one that I bought, DeLea Becker found it on, no, it wasn't even LoopNet. It was off market, if you will, email that I got in an email blast from a broker friend. It was, at the time, $415,000, half an acre, 4,000 square foot, air-conditioned warehouse with a falling down house on the front section. Outskirts, if you will. It was in the city limits, but it wasn't in the built-up part of Austin. It was in 2012. We bought it. I kept it tenanted with auto.
How much money did you put in, and how much did you finance?
I'm really happy that you asked that.
I got you. Know where you're going.
I immediately, whenever I started doing commercial real estate, I went to a lot of networking events because I do believe people have to know who you are, and you've got to know people. I had met a banker. I went to Prosperity. I said, I want a 10-year loan, fully amortized. He did it with 20% down, so we put $80,000 down to buy the $415,000 building. And again, most people would not think it was sexy. I think it's very sexy.
I brought in limited partners for as small as $5,000.
Yeah, you can start.
Because I'm on a mission.
So she will do things that maybe not other people will do. We kept the building, we had a partner on it, he wanted out, and we wanted to part ways with the partner, so it was fine. We sold it last year for $1 million. So. And we 1031'd it. Didn't pay those tax dollars. But that's starting small. That's starting small, or start
But you
with
got to
5,000.
save money. You have, so when people say, how do I get started? You have to save money. So I was I'm all retail. I've been in retail for 38 years. I think I started when I was 2. My boss came to me and said, you should invest in this shopping center. I'm like, I'm 26. I don't have any money. He goes, well, you make 60 grand a year and you're married and he makes 60. What are you doing with the money? And I'm like, spending it. I have money in my 401k And he says, you're an idiot. You should be investing in shopping centers. And I'm like, okay. And then 28 years old, he came to me, he goes, we're buying a shopping center and you should put money into this. And the minimum was 50,000. I'm like, okay, I don't have that kind of money. And he says, you make 80,000, your husband makes 80,000. What are you doing with the money? I'm like, I put it in my 401k. And then he came to me when I was 32, and he said, okay, you're going to be the leasing agent. You're going to raise the value. This one you need to put money in. And I know you're making 125 now, and your husband's making 125. So I know you have the money now. And I very sheepishly said, and he goes, what are you spending your money on? I go, I have that brand new Jaguar in my driveway, and I just took a first class trip to Hawaii, and I maxed out my 401k, and we thought we were doing great. And he goes, you're a freaking idiot. And he took me by the collar, and he dragged me down to the bank, and he co-signed a $50,000 note for me. And 20 years later, we made over 7 figures on that $50,000. That $50,000 loan that I got from the bank, a year later, we refied out and I paid the bank back. And we owned the shopping center for over 20 years, and I made over $1 million. But that was the start of everything for me. That I was a limited partner, he was the general partner, and from that, and my parents came in on 10 grand of that. So I was really, the note was 40 and my parents put in 10. And he said on one condition, every commission you make from this point forward, 10% goes into an investment account. So that the next time I come to you, you don't look at me and say, you stupidly bought a Jaguar and went to Hawaii, that you are doing something with this insider trading information. All of us are living every day. We're learning things. I have young women who rep Starbucks, find the site from Starbucks, take the tenant rep and take the site and go to a guy developer. Nothing irritates me more. And they go, it's too complicated, I don't understand. I wring their necks. But I did 7 LPs with that guy, and then I left and started my own company and started doing GPs on my own, general partners. But starting as a limited partner and spreading the word to whether it's your company, whether it's peers, friends, I'm interested in investing, I have a little bit of money, but you gotta start by saving the money, and that was where I failed. That from when I started with him at 26 and he made the first offer, I invested 6 years later only because he was an unbelievable guy who went and co-signed the note for me. But for 6 years, I could have been in 2 other deals. But so saving money is the crucial part. That's the start.
And so let me pick up on that. Let's say I have some money saved away. Today's environment is very challenging.
Very challenging.
So how should I think about getting that first investment in the ground if I've got a little bit of a nest egg, but
so I
debt
think
is expensive?
Yeah, finding deals is much harder than finding money. Yes. So I'm spreading the word all the time. I'm looking for deals. There might be a deal in this room. Candace might bring me a retail deal. I tend to only buy stuff in my neighborhood, but if Candace brought me a great retail deal, I would look at it. So I think you have to pick an asset class that you have some knowledge about. I would not go buy student housing. I know nothing about student housing. Now, in the last 3 years, because buying retail has been impossible in my neighborhood, where I buy, I have met a woman and she's doing multifamily, and I love her. And I'm betting on the Jockey. Love her, honest, was a CPA, can run circles around me with underwriting, all this stuff. I've invested as an LP 4 times with her on an asset class I want to know nothing about. Now, we live in Florida, rent control thing, knock on wood, is not a thing, but that the panel before us who said be very careful, absolutely. I would not be investing in multifamily in California. I'd be very nervous and scared about that. But picking an asset class that you have some knowledge about, or understanding the Jockey, and vetting the Jockey. Saying to someone you meet, tell me about your deals. How successful have they been? When people try to vet me, I say, go talk to my investors who no longer invest with me. Why don't they invest with you anymore? Go ask them. And it's never failed me. All the people have come back and said, okay, we want to invest with you. Most of the time, they're doing their own thing. Gina Zimmerman might invest with me, and then all of a sudden she's going and buying her own deals. She doesn't want to give me money anymore. Good for her. That's what I want for her. But asking the sponsor Give me people that don't invest with you anymore. That's the best, those are the best references or not. And then you might go, screw, I'm not gonna, okay, they don't want to invest with you anymore because you screwed them. But what's your advice about starting? How do they, deals are hard to find.
Deals are hard to find. There's plenty of money. No matter what everybody's saying here, interest rates, etc. There's so much cash. People will buy cash if there's a deal. The deal is nobody's going to pay 2021 prices. So that's the lack of deals is everything out there too expensive. Bet on the jockey. Who wants to be a jockey in here? I don't need your money. Go be a jockey and find me some deals. I'll put you in. Or most people got the commission.
I will put you in too.
Why? Why be the deal?
Find the deal. So be the Starbucks rep. Again, sorry, I'm all retail. Be the person who finds the deal, and then don't give the deal away. You be in the deal. You throw your commission in the deal. That's again how you can get started.
And I'm going to level up before I answer your question. Don't take it to a man. We love it to a man. We love that one man. But I run a nephew. He's 21. He found a property. He was going to take it to some guys in his office. I said, do not do that till it's under contract. They will go around you. No, they're good guys. Do not trust them. Do not trust them. Here's what I'm going to say about Beth and I. We're up on stages. We do this thing. For me to go burn one of you little jockeys would be ridiculously stupid. So I'm not going to do it. Beth's not going to do it. I can't guarantee other people won't do it. So you've got an opportunity. You don't have any money? Go be the jockey. Find us the deals. We'll teach you how to pencil it out, all of that. We'll go buy it, cut you in, whatever it is.
The money available is here, and the deals are here, currently. Deals are impossible. My latest deal that I'm working on right now, how many years have I been working on this guy to sell me his deal? Who knows this? How many years? 14 years. I own the deal over here. I own the deal over here. It's like my Park Place and Boardwalk, and the thing in the middle, I've been after him. I started when he was 76. He is now 90, and in the last 15 months, I've invested $750,000 on his 25. When I started investing, it was 20 million. I've got it up to 25 million, but I'm locked in at the 20. But I've been after this guy. He won't sell. He won't do a 1031. He has 5 children, and during COVID, he woke up and said, my kids aren't the ones to take this to the next level. You are. I've seen what you've done on the street, on your other 2 assets. We got to figure something out. So it's a marathon, not a sprint.
We have a question.
I have a question. As a fellow retail girly who started out, Beth, I think you met me when I was actually 23 and I started at Kimco, and I'm only a few years older now, so we're in the same, but I'm in that, buy the Mercedes and go out to, the Cartagena, Colombia and all that other stuff.
And purses.
And
buy
purses.
properties, not purses.
Me and Mark Jacobs go together really bad. He's not going anywhere. It was a gift from a boyfriend, just one.
This is my $39 purse. Now buy the property, get the distributions, and then go buy the purse.
So the question I have, because
are you allowed to do it or not?
That's the thing. Yeah. It's a big. Not only do I work for a REIT, I work for the biggest open air shopping center REIT in the country. So it's a conflict. It can be a conflict of interest for me to go invest in shopping centers. But that's my asset class. That's what I know. I lease retail, so I know it like the back of my hand. So I guess to that point, what advice would you give to someone who does work for a publicly traded REIT, but wants to personally invest in commercial real estate and doesn't want to?
You can't invest. So if your company says we're a retail REIT, you can't invest in retail, then you can't. And you can invest in their stock if you believe in the company and what they're doing. You're right. Talk about insider trading again. Right. So you can invest in the REIT stock. Maybe you can invest in other REIT stocks. I don't know. I don't personally invest in REIT stocks because I can do it myself. Right. So I think that you should probably start thinking about start educating yourself about other asset classes. Mm-hmm. We know a lot about industrial retail, right? We've learned. So I think industrial is interesting. In South Florida, we know, Washington.
Yeah.
But probably the same thing,
Yeah.
self-storage.
Yeah.
So I think that you should educate yourself on the other asset classes and see which tickles your fancy, and then make sure, confirm with your bosses that it's okay for you to invest be an LP in another woman's self-storage deal.
Okay. I have to look at the language. I think there, yes, I had to revisit it, number one, because I think there might be I think I have to run it. I don't know if I'm necessarily restricted fully, or if I have to run it by them. I think I might have to do the latter.
And they're not buying strip centers like what I buy. They're not doing that.
Exactly.
Yet.
Or land, or single tenant drive-through, double drive-through fast food. Read, pick it apart, figure it out. Once you know the answer, then you can run it by your bosses. You don't need to ask them in what you can do.
Right.
So you can say, I've reviewed this is how I read it, I want to confirm you read it the same way.
And you happen to have a phenomenal boss, or phenomenal person, Carmen here, right, who's the president of the Western region, who came to my investment conference last year, and you could talk to her, so talk to her and say, do you invest? How do you invest?
So if I could ask you, what asset classes do you invest in? I know you're retail and you are.
Oh gosh, my very favorite is retail. I personally believe that retail is the most flexible. One of my number one things is, if I buy this, how do I backfill it? Who's gonna go in if Starbucks leaves? I don't buy Starbucks because they pay above market rent. Who's gonna go in if I buy this 4,000 square foot warehouse or this 3,000 square foot office? Therefore, retail, if my retail tenant leaves, I can put in a weed store, I can put in a medical, I can put in dentist, I can put in yoga. It's very wide. Even a small little strip center in outlying areas, it could be flex warehouse for e-commerce local deliveries. It is, in my opinion, the most flexible asset. A lot of them, strip centers, power centers, tons of parking. I know that we're all looking forward to this world where no one has cars. But today, in Texas, we keep driving them. We keep driving them. So people really like to go to businesses, whether it's the dentist, their CPA, or the grocery store, and be able to park in front. It's just the way that we like to do it. Next is, I actually really like office. One of the things that I take advantage of, and this is the thing, you need to figure out what you are really good at and then take advantage of it that other people can't do. I own office space. So during COVID, I broke it up into small offices. I lease them 6 months at a time, and my little commission on it is about $180. I'm a broker. I don't need the commission. I need my office space to be filled. I have been filled the entire time while everybody else struggles with 40 to 20% vacancy. That's just my little niche because I don't care about the commission. If you are a retail broker and you go buy a little retail building, just Taco Bell, you don't care about the commission check as much as you do it being rented for that 10, 15, 20 years. Right. It makes you so much more maneuverable, and you can beat out your competition, the other brokers that are living on their commission. So that's kind of office, retail. Other than that, the deal is a deal, except for multifamily. I do not touch heads and beds because of the federal regulations of residential.
Yeah, I used to say nothing with a bed in it. But in the last 2 years, like I said, I'm now investing in 4 with one woman who has 4 multifamily deals. She started with 6 units, then she had 8 units, then she had 6 units, then she had 8 units, and then she got on my stage and I said, what's your goal for next year? And she said 50 units. I said, that's crap, it needs to be 100. And then the year later, I brought her up in the audience and I said, how many units do you have? And she goes, 102. And I invested. So I've invested in multifamily. I've invested with a top Miami industrial broker who bought something in Tampa. I invested with him as an LP. I've invested in hospitality. There's a woman who is a freaking rock star. Her name is Tracy. She teaches women how to buy hotels, these Residence Inn and Hamptons Inns. Phenomenal. Tracy Prigmore. And she teaches women, she goes, women should not be the housekeepers in the hotels. They should be owning the hotels. And so I've invested with her, so hospitality. So as an LP, I'll invest in other asset classes. I don't really know anything about the asset class. I'm investing with the Jockey. And it's all, well, the industrial guy's a guy, but mostly they're women.
And where is the hotel? Where are the hotels?
So she created a fund, and I invested $50,000 into the fund. She's about to deploy the fund. So I'm investing in her fund. I also invested last year into someone mentioned it at the last panel, a debt fund, because loans have been a little difficult to get, and this guy created a debt fund, and a 2-year debt fund because he's building urgent cares, freestanding urgent cares. He's the franchisee, and he's guaranteed a hard 12% for 2 years each year. So I gave him $50,000 because 12% is great.
How are you guys evaluating the people? What are some red flags about the people that you've experienced over the years?
So too many fees. So one of the first things I ask when I get a deal sent to me, show me the fee chart. So when as a general partner, when I do a deal, I charge a leasing fee, a property management fee. I do not charge acquisition, disposition, guarantee fee, asset management fee. The fees will hurt your distributions. And when they start being a little funny about telling me what the fees are, I'm out. And then the question that I said, I'd like to talk about I want to meet or speak to your current investors and people that don't invest with you anymore. Knowing people that you do trust, women don't talk about money. This is my other mission. They don't talk about money. They don't talk about deals they're investing in. We know when I started the investment conference, the reason I started it is I learned that of all commercial real estate investors, only 3% were women. And of the 3%, half was spouses, like women who were signing on the guarantee for their husband's deals that they found on the golf course, or inherited, young ladies who inherited. So I'm part of 1.5%. I thought that was deplorable. So I said, so I started interviewing women. Do you invest? No. Why don't you invest? Where do you invest? The stock market. Why don't you invest? You're in commercial real estate. You own a commercial real estate brokerage. How come you're not? Help me. It's too complicated. No, the stock market's not complicated. It's too risky. I lost 80% of my Netflix stock last year. It's not risky. So I kept asking, and at the bottom line, it was, I don't know any other women doing it. That makes sense since there's only 3% of us. So speaking up and saying, I invest, I want to invest, do you know anyone that invests? So Sabrina, if you met someone and you're like, I want to invest, and someone says, I know this woman that invests, like I know Natasha. Natasha is the woman that if you know me and I'm your friend and you trust me and I've been investing with this person, it's co-signing. So it's co-signing, it's research and investment of your time to see if they're legitimate. I think scammers are pretty quickly outed. And most importantly, if there's any ick feeling in here, ladies, that's not a soft skill, that is a hard skill that we need to listen to. So if you're on the phone and you feel like this person's a little icky, then it's over. That's the best judge.
This feels like a good time to plug the hive, right, that they introduced to us earlier, that connects all of us in this room and all of us at this conference, so that I think we're all vetted because we're all here, and we can leverage each other and the panelists that you're hearing here and my connections as well, so that we can understand, how are you connected, do you know this person, and I can guarantee you, someone in this room can very quickly stuff out who's legit and who's not. So I just encourage everybody to connect via LinkedIn, connect via the Hive. Let's use this network for good so that we can all be invested when we leave the conference. Yes?
I think this is great, and I would love to, I did a fund as well, and I gave a man $100,000 for an Oklahoma family that I would love to give money to a woman. So if Hive would be great to introduce those women that are putting deals together with the co-signer that people know and trust, I think that's where we should start, because I would love to give money, again, to a woman. But I don't know women that put funds together. Once you're part of a fund, you get emails left and right, and they're all from men. So,
and that's okay.
It is okay, but I'd rather capitalize on women and help women get to the level that it starts with us helping women get off the ground as well. But it's like, how do we put them on a list with what you're talking? So I'm going to call you. So I'm going to email you, and I'm looking forward to it because I'm a multifamily freak. So, and that's my niche. So I'm really interested in the woman that you're talking about, that you invested in. So being able to do that, because I do believe that you do have to be passionate about what you like. And because if someone is investing and it's just not sweat equity, or that it's truly they're putting their money, why wouldn't I as well?
And one of the other questions you have to ask the sponsor is, how often are you going to report?
Yeah.
And what are you going to report? And how, do you have a portal? I was just going to I was going to buy a Wells Fargo building. Who's in retail in here? Okay, I was going to buy an empty Wells Fargo building. I raised the money, $3 million. We're going to buy it cash. The rents I was getting, for the retail people, I had LOIs from 3 major national fast food and beverage for 80 triple net. And the construction costs were too high, the impact fees were too high, so first I called the seller and said I'm going to probably drop the contract, and then I called the tenants, and the tenant said we'll pay $100, and the construction costs still did not pencil. I had to wire everyone their $3 million back, and I forgot where I was going with this.
Portal and reporting.
Oh, portal. So I had never done a portal, and my multifamily woman had a portal, and the portal's amazing because you can go in at any time, you can see the financials at any time. So I said to my assistant, we're getting a portal, and this was just one little deal, but this is great, it's so transparent. So because sometimes you have LPs that give you money and never call you. Just send me I always tell Natasha, I give a check, I get a check, it's a beautiful thing, I don't have to work. But sometimes you get LPs who want information all the time, and they gave 10 grand. But that's okay, that we're in the job to be service, right? But the portal's fabulous. So do you have a portal is another question.
Yes.
For the portal's not cheap, but if you are an investor raising funds from other people, you should have a portal because it's really makes things a lot more transparent. It's hard to hide.
I was going to say on the reporting and all that, here's a beautiful thing about getting in as an LP in a very small sliver. You're going to get the same reports. Do it and study the reports. Study them like you're going to get a degree with them every month or every quarter. And you start working through those numbers. Here's an amazing thing. Now treat it like an intern, but I didn't have it whenever I started. ChatGPT. You can put those reports into ChatGPT and ask it questions. Don't rely on its accuracy. I'm not saying, but you might get a question, answer, and then send it to me or Beth and go, this doesn't seem right. We read it and go, yeah, that's actually how that is. Start playing with it. I'm assuming whenever you got into this career in what form or fashion, you did a lot of self-teaching. I know I did, because you have to. And instead of niche, I call it core competency. My question would be, she had you stand up, if you own any commercial real estate as an investor, stand up if you actually make money on a day-to-day basis in a job or as a business owner in something that revolves around commercial real estate.
Well, sure.
Lending, title, leasing, everybody, your core competency is what we're talking about. More than 99% of investors out there, the other LPs, they might be a CPA or an attorney, and
doctors, they know nothing. This is the point.
You got a leg up. You have a leg up. Use it. You pick your niche in that I'm going to focus on retail so I know it well. I didn't invest in a wide swath, and there's some things I don't invest in. Atlanta, I'm going to do Atlanta. Not yet, because I know Texas law, I know all those things. I feel comfortable. I'm not saying I stay in my comfort zone, but I inch out of it little bit by little bit. If you're not one of the ones that was standing that owns commercial real estate, make it a focused goal. And you've got to self-educate every day. Spend an hour every day learning something. Not from Grant Cardone. He might be good. But I will say right here, Beth has a gazillion hours of content out on the internet, and it's all legit. She speaks from her experience, and she's got no skin in the game, but she's getting clicks and getting paid a bunch of money. She gives it freely because she truly believes that the number should be higher than 3%. And even if it's not, that at least the women in this room go out and get it on. Get it on.
I just want to say, my background is like working with private equity, and so we used portals all the time. And what was great about it was we would join a deal halfway through its lifetime. Like they would refinance something, we would enter the deal. But you had access to all the documents from the beginning. So you could see what had happened, how they refinanced it, and everything like that. And so it gives you some history, and it's a great way, to your point, to get your feet wet to see how they put it together and to see how others do it and then just copy it. It's because they put it out there to raise money, you might as well use all the information they're providing.
So speaking of documents, when you're an LP, you get a document. It's online, but if you printed it, it would be this thick. And you can't really change the documents. You can hire a lawyer. You should hire a lawyer, especially your first time, and have your lawyer walk you through what's in the document. It's very complicated. This is the complicated part, but you should know what you're signing and look for things like buy, sell. What happens if there's a capital call and I can't put the money in on the capital call? What happens typically is you're diluted, meaning let's say you put in 50,000, let's say 10 people put in 50,000, it's a $500,000 deal, and now there's a capital call and you need to put in another 10 grand and you don't have it, then the other partners are, and there's a lot of different ways to do it, but generally the other partners someone else would put in the 10 grand and then your percentage of the deal gets reduced by the amount you didn't put in. But sometimes that's not in the document. That should be in all the documents as far as as far as I'm concerned. The other thing so that's something that you should talk to your attorney, like, what happens when I can't do the capital call? That's an important question. The other thing that's very important is when the deal's refied. So everyone puts in the money and the deal's going great and the leasing agents raise the value and now the general partner goes and refis the deal and people get their money back. That you get, like, the 50 grand you put in, you get it back. Some people, I had no idea this was even a thing until 3 years ago. Some general partners, those LPs are now out of the deal. You got paid your original equity out, and now you're out. I don't do that. If I refi the deal, I give you your 50 grand. We're happy. Now we're all living on the house money, and then you still have your percentage of the deal. But very important to check what happens if there's a refi. Are you still a partner at your original percentage? Super important. So we're not saying this is easy peasy, throw your money in, find a part. Obviously, you have to do your homework. And I met 3 or 4 lawyers in the last 2 days here. We're all smart people, smart women. You got to do your homework. And there are documents. Don't just sign them willy-nilly. And you may have to spend some money. But be smart about it.
So I've been keeping all my commissions on the side, just looking to invest when a good deal come through. So being a generalist is sometimes conflicting because I want to have a focus, but I also really do enjoy learning every single industry. Like land deal, when I'm working on land deal, I learn what the investors are looking for. So do you have any recommendations?
I have a question. What market are you in?
Charlotte.
And are all your generalist deals in the Charlotte market?
Yeah, Charlotte.
Guess what?
Raleigh. Yeah.
Guess what? You're a niche, and your niche is your geography. That's your niche. That's your niche, because you're an expert in Charlotte.
Right.
You either should be like in Miami, I couldn't be a generalist, so I'm retail. But if I was in Apopka, Florida, I'd be a generalist because I would be an expert on Apopka, Florida. So you're an expert in Charlotte. I'm the best commercial real estate person in Charlotte. My expertise is Charlotte.
But I'll get really incredibly focused for you. I'm going to tell you what to do, and I hope you go do it. She taught me to start talking about money. My brokerage, all the money after expenses goes to buy buildings. We don't live off of it. I do own a construction company that does TxDOT road and bridge repair. So understand that. I have this big company over here, pays all the expenses living. That, like your commission, is always for investing. I don't buy purses and shoes with it. It's investing. And I put it where it is liquid. I don't invest it in other things because I don't know when the opportunity is going to arrive. And the opportunistic, that was said on one of the panels, thing right now is office. We don't know what's going on, which means there's opportunity. So go study that. If you like studying things, you are looking for the knife falling that you can catch. And that might be 1,000 square foot office condo that this broker just can't seem to get leased, but maybe because they're not very good. You go buy it, that's your thing, and you go lease it up. You're like, man, a little feather in your cap, and you go on to the next thing. You might become the office expert in Charlotte. Because somebody said that, how do you catch a falling knife? You study, study, so whenever that opportunity comes in your email or phone call, you grab it. That's what you do.
So I just, one thing about the Sabrina who said she wants to meet women, I have a podcast called Women Investor Wednesdays. And the 5 of you that stood up that say you invest, I need you on my podcast. Because I'm interviewing women who have invested. So I think I probably have 30 podcasts of women who invest in all different asset classes, and I just interview them. You can have one property, you can have $1 billion. It's just having the women have a platform to say, here are women who invest. So come see me after, because I need to interview you, and then go watch those podcasts and you'll meet all these women.
How would we find your podcast?
Go to bethazor.com or YouTube. They're on YouTube.
Okay.
So we are pretty much at time. This is an impossible, okay, squeeze one more.
So I'm just starting as an LP in Fort Worth.
Yay!
So exciting. Do you have an Excel sheet from somewhere that you've really enjoyed?
An Excel sheet for underwriting a deal?
Yeah.
Do you?
Absolutely.
She does.
And mine is very simple. It is cowgirl math. I don't make things complicated. I'm not that smart.
And I can send you the Wells Fargo deck that I used to raise the $3 million in 7 days. And you can ask me any questions you want on that. It's not there's not really a spreadsheet though.
Okay.
I'm allergic to those. I have to hire people to do those.
Okay.
That's why she's on my personal board, because she's not like me. I love spreadsheets and contracts. I've never sent a contract to an attorney that I didn't know all the answers. I just have them confirm it.
So this is an impossible panel to summarize, but I think there were tons of nuggets that we can all take away.
Thank you. Sorry we're excited.
That's moderator.